All right, I'm here with Phoenix Rising Sapphire and Frostbite on patch day. I just need to reset a couple of things because I believe the teams are on the opposite sides I was expecting, but that's okay. Excuse me. If I was smart enough, I'd mute my mic before I did this. Frostbite picked the map and they used the same portraits that my team does. And now there are too many people in the game. I'm not sure who Eternal Blue is. We have a hanger on, just trying to spectate. But this is week 1 of season 13, so I don't have any stats at all for these teams. But once this random hanger-on leaves, I think we should be ready to go. Just letting the teams know I'm ready. It's up to them to be ready, and my job communicating with them is over. Just waiting for them to do their thing. And just adjusting so I can talk to chat. I have a different computer, a different monitor set up to see my stream, so I know at least I can tell when I'm messing up. But yeah, Team Frostbite picked the map, Alt-Direct Pass. They told me the bans. They didn't exactly say who banned what, so I just kind of assigned them to random teams. But no Towers of Doom, no Sky Temple, no Braxis. Yeah. Eternally Blue. You aren't on one of the teams and you're not the caster. That's why you're random. You're not just a random person. I'm sure you have a deep connection with these teams and this is very important to you. But yes, this is an official match that you are not currently part of. But I'm glad you're here to see what's going on. And we are off. Alright, so it's patch day, and a number of heroes got changed, so we'll see if that has any effect on the bans. Rhaegar being the biggest question mark, because it was, first ban, first pick before, but he got a number of different nerfs and changes that, quite frankly, I don't think the teams have had a lot of time to mess around with, so we'll have to see if he remains that important. A few other heroes got changed. Nova, Diablo, ETC, Malthael, Probius. But none of them were, I think, significant enough to drastically change what people are going to choose in one day. Notably, Johanna did not get nerfed or changed, and she was also sort of first ban, first pick priority, so I expect her to be banned. But we're starting off with Kael'thas. Pretty common mage to be used. I'm not sure if it's a target ban or just to make our life easier so we don't have to split ban. Junkrat ban does as well. Super annoying character in the right hands, even without the right hands and the right build with the traps. No false dad, so that's one global out of the way. Bans are going quick. Teams seem to know what they want. And my guess would be this is Joe. Yeah, there it is. She's very strong at the moment. You don't want to give her up if you don't need to. There are ways to beat her, of course, but if it's easier to beat somebody else, why not just do that? All right, the real question is, who is the first pick? Dahaka. So we have Team Phoenix Rising Sapphire prioritizing globals. Brightwing is still available. And of course, as always, Deathwing and ETC, Stage Dive, and there's a few other ways to get globals, but Falstad, Dahaka, Brightwing, the most common ones. Sonya and Lunar. So Frostbite, not too curious, not too careful about the globals. They think they can get enough pressure without them. We will see if that is the case. Holy cow, there's so many people in chat. I'm not used to this. My stream is very small. But welcome, everybody. Hope you enjoy. And there's the Brightwing. So again, Phoenix Rising Sapphire prioritizing those globals. And Li Ming, good to delay the point. Good burst damage, good poke damage. All around good mage. Second round of bans coming in. Phoenix Rising Sapphire doesn't have a tank yet. So I would expect the most common ban would be a tank. There's the Stitches. He's also really good on the point. He can get his hooks over the wall while you're channeling, and that can lead to an unfortunate kill. So get him off the board. Conversely, Frostbite doesn't have a healer or a tank, so there's lots of options still open. There's also the possibility for a target ban against the team if these teams have been scouting each other. Stukov, I'm actually kind of surprised he made it this far. He was a very strong hero. He got a few changes today, but in this first match we won't be able to see him, so it doesn't really matter. 2 more character picks for Frostbite. There's the Varian,
a great destiny.
Possibly taking it away from the other team, because Varian Li Ming is very common with a Brightwing follow-up, is very dangerous. And Chromie, also good poke, good for the objective, good burst damage. Still need a healer, but as Phoenix Rising already has a healer, they're not going to steal a healer away, so there's no need to pick that early. I don't know what happened, but we are restarting the lobby. Some technical difficulties. They're going to redo the draft. We'll get back into this as soon as we can. I was unable to see chat during the draft, as you can tell, so I don't really know what's going on, but I'm sure it won't be too long. Possibly just reloading the game kind of thing. A couple minutes. Gotta love the random errors you get from this game sometimes. Happens to everybody, so. We are just going to completely remake the lobby. I'm just going to leave this one. And wait for an invite to the next one. If my memory was any good at all, I would speculate on what these here teams might pick, but I've already forgotten half of the characters, so it's fine. No need to apologize. I know how this goes.
Alterac pass.
Okay. We're back in the draft. I expect these first few rounds are going to go quick if these teams remember what they picked. No surprises here. Again, if my memory was any good, I could predict exactly what's going to happen, but I can't because I suck. But the first one was Dahaka.
Change is upon us.
And then it was 2 characters for the other side. I don't remember who they were. It was no, Sonia Lunara. Li Ming was on the other side with Brightwing.
Fight time! This realm needs me.
Okay, and then it was Varian and Chromie.
We will
And
forge a
the last
great
picks after this,
Here we go again.
this is where we were before. And yes, as Chromie says, here we go again. Back to where we started. They've had lots of time to think about this, and they're taking the extra 30 seconds. But gotta make sure you pick the right thing, don't make a mistake. Who are your last 2 picks for Phoenix Rising? Blaze and Sylvanas. So lots of globals. Sylvanas pressure on buildings. They could just choose to run around the enemy team, not actually fight them, and just push stuff down. That's a viable strategy. With Li Ming just interrupting the objective.
For the alliance above all.
And family values on the side of Frostbite with Varian Anduin. Taunt into Light Bomb, possible. I have seen things where the Varian just decides not to tank and goes overpowered or something. Also possible. I don't expect it, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised. But we'll have to see what they choose to do. Overall, depending how they play, I think the globals are going to make a big difference. Phoenix Rising has decent clamp clear. Frostbite has pretty good with the Sonia Lunara. Not a huge advantage there, but I'd say it's slightly better. but you know, no team really has definite boss control unless Brightwing takes Emerald Wind. There's no gust or avalanche to knock them off. You have to actually fight for the bosses. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. To introduce the teams, we have Frostbite with Last Malkier on Chromie, Magius on Varian, Apollo on Lunara, and Cookie on Anduin and Silverbowl on Sonya. For Phoenix Rising Sapphire, Side Piece on Sylvanas, Miss Nugget on Li Ming, KKZ on Brightwing. I can't tell who's who over here. We have the Boomer 444 on Blaze, and Atlantis AI on Dahaka. Okay. Mid Brawl. Frostbite just holding back. They have the Varian, not really a tank yet. They don't really want to engage, give the other team any chance to stack. No stacking talents except for Chromie, who is in the bot lane at the moment. Sylvanas Haunting Wave with Dahaka. Mid wave just disappears. But Chromie and Sonya already in lane. Frostbite didn't really care about losing the first kills on the minions. They just wanted to get all the lanes early. And that left in the bottom lane. Phoenix Rising lost 1 experience globe. Top lane I don't think lost too much. So not too much experience difference. Camp's about to start. Both teams in position, so good macro. Talent so far we have Overpower, Nature's Toxin Reveals, Furious Blow, Even-Handed Blessings, and Deep Breathing. Chromie took movement speed on traps. On the other side, Hypershift, very common. Power Hungry, so Li Ming's can do a little more damage with Globes. Neural Stimpack, Tissue Regeneration, and Overwhelming Affliction. Meanwhile, Camp almost finished. Camp finished, so Phoenix Rising Sapphire a little faster in the early game. If Sonya gets her the right talents later, she could be quicker later, but we'll see. That said, the Gnolls are going to push up to the walls, and then the other Gnolls are going to come, so you're going to have cannons help defending. So even though they were slower, they are going to have an easier time cleaning up. Yeah, just getting in range there. Bottom lane, Mage versus Mage. It's an interesting matchup. Solo laners just doing fine. There's a taunt mid. Sylvanas just gets out. Hypershift comes in, keeps her healthy. It was a close near kill, but not quite there. Level 4 talents, obviously we have Taunt, Nature's Culling, more Slam build, Piercing Light for the spell power bonus. Traps we already saw. Magic Spit, Triumvirate, Meltdown, Lurker Strain, Mercenary Queen. Looks like Chromie's sort of winning this matchup, but we'll have to wait and see. No one's dead yet. Big Root coming in, big counter charge, and here's Brightwing using those globals. Well, healing anyway. Potential gank onto the... No, not going to happen. Dahaka's a little bit too wily and just walked away from it. These teams are not really brawling too much, mostly focusing on the macro. Sylvanas already back on her camp. Frostbite is a little bit behind going to theirs. So slight advantage going over to Phoenix Rising. Yeah, Frostbite not even interested, it looks like right now. They're just milling about. So that's a big advantage going for Phoenix Rising, but so far no actual advantage on the objective. Possible they're just going to push these in. Or not. They're backing away. No, they're coming back. With only Varian clearing, and now they're starting to camp. Varian's not going to clear that very quick. Sylvanas is here to turn off the towers. I expect the towers are going to go down, but probably not too much else. But yes, that's the power of the null camps. When you don't take yours, you give the other team a chance. Big taunt comes in. Not a lot of damage to follow up. The helping hand from Anduin. Oof. Pulling out the very end, but the blaze stun into the gleaming damage takes out Lunara. Now they're coming in on the objective. There's a tongue drag onto Sonya. She's got nowhere to go except the mud pit, which would slow down even if she got there, but the damage is there. That's 2 kills for Phoenix Rising Sapphire. However, here's the Chromie with the stall damage. So this channel is not coming in anytime soon. Chromie did take the deep breathing, so while she's doing this, she can stack. But the Leaming Orbs do a lot as well. Apollo comes in for the delay just in time, and Phoenix Rising has to back out as all 5 are now alive. They do have half a level lead, but the objective was successfully stalled out. Chromie did almost die from the leaving damage, but survived just long enough. In the future, might decide to move around a little bit more to juke those orbs before they come. Meanwhile, Sylvanas goes and takes another camp. And 6 seconds before Frostbite can even start theirs. Yes, Li Ming looks like going full orb. But Frostbite not taking their camp, they're going straight to objective. They should get this channel started. Yes, Blaze does not charge in against 5. He could have delayed, but may have just exploded. Here come Heroics. That's mind control onto the Sonya. Taunt goes on to Sylvanas, who gets time trapped. Oh, rewind, whatever it's called. Bunker came out, and here comes the counter channel from minions.
Those horde savages have retaken the
4 heroics we used.
back and unlocked the
5
cage.
technically, but Blink Heal doesn't really count. And no kills, so that's a good defense on the offensive side from Frostbite, but they don't have their own heroics yet. So the channel comes through, and we'll have to wait and see if they can come back to delay this. There's another mind control, very low cooldown on that. And Cookie gets blown up, no more Anduin. There's the leap into the backline, Sonya doing the best you can. KKZ is about to die. Not quite saved, almost. Apollo's traded out. Dahaka should go down here. Yes. Big bloodbath here in the mid. From 2 teams who weren't fighting earlier to all of the kills at once. But Phoenix Rising did get the objective during that. The fight was on the objective, so no time to counter channel. We have Disintegrate, Bunker, Isolation, Mind Control versus Warbringer, Leaping Strike, Leap, Light Bomb, and Temporal Loop. Here comes the defense. Mid being defended first. Nobody really going bottom, so the towers are going down. Sonya top should be alright there. Mind Control, a little too far away, doesn't catch anyone. But it's a low cooldown. You can just throw those out and hope for the best. If you do catch someone, it's tragic for them. If you don't, it's no big deal for you. So just chuck those out when you can. Li Ming doing some siege as safe as she can, but the other teams are rotating. So there's the taunt onto Sylvanas. There's the damage. Leaping Strike just before the Brightwing. And Sylvanas goes down, not quite saved.
That's how real warriors fight.
Objective all cleared up. Bottom fort half, top 75, mid at 75 as well. Towers are all down, but the forts still stand. So with the experience completely evened up, I'd say that's a successful defense for Frostbite. Both teams back on camps. Lunara with her poison damage chunking those down. It looks like Frostbite will take the advantage in the first camp this time. Sonya just checking the boss. Team not showing on map, not quite sure where they were. But Frostbite has bosses on the mind, and they're going bottom. That's a dead Leaming if I ever saw one. Do they still take boss now that they've been scouted? Yes, they do, because they got a kill. Meanwhile, Sonya is left alone to deal with both top and mid lane. So this is going to push onto fort. With 3 members there and a Sylvanas, this fort should go down before this boss is finished. Well, as this boss finishes then. So that's a trade they're electing to take. Mid fort for possible bottom fort, although if Phoenix Rising
More of our soldiers have been
backs
taken
at this
prisoner.
point, they can
Let's
probably
take 'em
defend
back.
bot. Leaving not quite happy about getting completely stomped on by the enemy team, but that is what happens when you face check bushes. And here comes the defense for Phoenix Rising. They have 10 seconds to do this and get to objective, but objective is right here, so they shouldn't lose out on that. Meanwhile, top boss
I've got eyes on
camps her up in 13
Move in.
seconds.
Get 'em out of there.
There's no way, even with globals, that Phoenix Rising stops this. But I suspect the same thing's going to happen. They're going to push down bottom and exchange for boss. And the boss only got wall and part of the keep fort. So that's a good trade for them. And Frostbite is nowhere near their camp. They're nowhere near objective. So Phoenix Rising could take objective 2 instead of defending the boss. They have lots of options here. So that's just an example of, the boss isn't the end of the world. Not the strongest on this map. Push pressure, definitely important, and we have a pause. So I'm just going to take it out of the game so that no one can, see where the other team is by looking at the replay. Just a bit of a lag issue. We should be back soon. But slight experience lead. Oh, I can't talk anymore. I can never talk. It's fine. For Frostbite, but definitely structure advantage for Phoenix Rising. So, still anyone's game. It's 4 kills to 5, so it's, pretty even overall. One good objective with the team wipe, and you take down 3 keeps. 3 forts. So exciting to see who's going to come out on top in the end. We have the Boomer. Looks like he's completely restarting his game. So it's going to take another minute or 2. Oh, nope, he's back. It just said he left, but, my Blizzard messages, who can trust him? We're starting in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Top fort does go down to the boss and the team pushing. Phoenix Rising is there with the defense on the keep. And Frostbite is invading the camp while they're here. Varian gets mind controlled and stunned. With the Warbringer, he had no protected, so he had no way to stop all that damage. The Anduin was a little bit late on the Leap of Faith. And the camp invade, not terribly successful. Boss is down. Their own camp was taken, so now they're just going straight to objective. They're down their tank, so this should be an easy defense, but Phoenix Rising is in 3 places at once. They're taking their camp, they're clearing top, and only 3 members rotated down. But not knowing where the Sylvanas was, the 4 remaining members of Frostbite wisely back up. And the Dahaka just comes in, so it's now 4v4. Sylvanas clearing mid,
Our camp
and
is under siege.
the channel
We have
comes
to
in
keep
for
that
Phoenix
keep
Rising.
warm.
Varian's back up, 16 to 15 for a short while. They do have an advantage. This should be enough just to walk in and push them off, with Sylvanas not there. But Li Ming sticks around a little too long and gets taunted and dead. The leap comes in from Sonya. The rewind gets juked by the bunker. And big fight. 5 versus 4. Nowhere to go. Blaze tanking all that he can, but goes down. The drag comes in, but the leap of faith comes out. And now it's Frostbite's turn to channel. They do have a camp pushing on the mid, and no wave to slow it down with the towers, so it's going to get some big damage. As Sonya goes back, probably to deal exactly with that. 3 versus 4. Dahaka eats all of the damage. Manages to juke the Looks like he juked the Brightwing as well as the Leaping Strike. Sonya lost her towers, but can start camp. Leeming dropping her orbs, but with the channel already in, it's not going to stop anything. 2 seconds. Are they going to get the channel? Huge chromie damage. Big taunt. And Sylvanas goes down in the last second. Almost saved by Brightwing. But those chromie... Ooh, we got a drag onto Anduin with the polymorph and the Leeming damage to follow up. It's enough. Anduin goes down as well. Those chromie deep breaths were chunking the team. For that last drag. It looked like in the draft they wanted the Varian, but they pulled off the same thing with the tongue Leeming polymorph for that last pick. But the objective coming in for Frostbite, they do have a full level lead. They're almost 18 to 17. Mid gets defended real quick as Frostbite has members down, but with top already down, it's healthy and pushing in on a keep. And bottom fort should go down. This already equalizes the structures. Massive long-range orbs doing damage. But the objectives are still pushing. We could get more. Sonya finds the Blaze trying to flank. Keeps him off. Keeping her backline safe. But those Leeming orbs are connecting, finding resets. And the Riders go down. Mind control onto Sonya. Gets blown up. All that burst damage. Leeming gets a reset. And Frostbite is on the retreat. Time Trap does slow them down. And no one else should be going down. Camps up in 10 seconds. Other null camp available. Frostbite didn't know that Phoenix Rising backed off. They could have taken that boss if they were feeling very cheeky. But with their Sonya down, they don't feel quite that confident. And they make the safe play just for their own camp. It is going to be later than the opponent camp, which could snowball eventually. But it also means at the moment that they'll have an easier time clearing it. But while they're doing that, looks like Phoenix Rising, they're showing that they're doing this. It's sending 4 bottom. And the Wisp scouts it out for sure. And Frostbite's just going to go straight to top boss to get some counter pressure. Decent trade for both teams. Both bosses going in onto keeps. There may be enough time for Phoenix Rising to do something about this to stop them from taking the boss. There could be a very cheeky Dahaka Brightwing play, but I don't think that's coming. So boss for boss. Mid camp getting cleared as Phoenix Rising was a bit quicker, but I suspect there's not going to be a push. It's just going to be Frostbite defending and then soaking 20 as they're almost there. But Phoenix Rising wants to fight before 20 and is coming in to push with their boss. Blaze connects a stun, there's a drag, the Leap of Faith for safety. Chromie's chunking her out, dropping damage. Keep turned off. Sonya's clearing mid, so it is a 5 versus 4. This keep may go down. Leap of Faith saves Varian's life. Bunker saves Blaze's life. Boss is still chunking away. Mind control whiffs. 20s are almost here. It was a very successful pre-20 fight for Phoenix Rising, but they traded their own keep as they had 5 bottom. So as good as it was an even trade. And none of this damage on the core matters. It's going to heal itself up. Meanwhile, mid was cleared, and now they can take their own camp, which will give Frostbite advantage on the objective. Not a huge one, but they'll have a camp pushing while they fight for the objective. And if they put pressure on, that camp might just take mid. With the giant null, maybe not. Wisp does not capture camps, but they saw that coming. Now there's a camp versus camp. That mid should be fine. And it's the 20 versus 20 fight. Mind control comes out. She did not take the upgrade, so that is not a 15-second cooldown. The counter channel comes through. We have Banner for 20s, Toxin, Ignore Pain, Censure, Piercing Sands, versus Fairy Protector, Talrash's Fortified Bunker, Essence Claws, and Withering Barrage. So I don't think any of these 20s are game-changing solo going to win. But there's a drag onto Varian. He parries some of the damage. Light Bomb comes in, whiffs. The bunker saves the Blaze from getting stunned. And Sonya gets annihilated. Side piece does get hit with the rewind, but survives. Lunara is escaping top. The rest of the team just trying to run away. Lunara coming in to distract the Blaze and let her team walk out of there. Counter channel comes in. Sonya's up in 40 seconds, so we'll be alive just in time to see this finish. So if Frostbite wants to stop this, they have to do it 4 versus 5. Looks like they're going to take their camp. That's a very wise choice. At the very least, get some pressure while they do other things. Meanwhile, Sylvanas decides there's a fort right here. Or fort. I used the right word. And they're just going to take that down. So camp gets taken, fort goes down. The structure advantage is back in the hands of Phoenix Rising. Experience advantage still in the hands of Frostbite, but at post 20, it's not a big deal. 8 seconds left on the channel. I don't think they're going to get this unless... Well, they're backing off. Varian could start channeling. He doesn't. It would have been a miracle play if that had happened. But now comes the big defense. Mid's already getting cleared out. Top is very pushed, so top is not the priority here. Mid's gonna connect first, and then bottom. I would expect that's where the defense comes in. But the team's already here. Li Ming with the siege damage coming in. Long range orbs. Versus the Chromie deep breaths. The objective taking a ton of damage. Mind control whiffs. Tongue drag whiffs. But there's the isolation that does not whiff. And the keep goes down. Varian took a ton of damage there. But no kills. Silverbell getting hit by the... Oh, another tongue drag miss. Orb just connects with Varian. Bottom objective coming in. 2 keeps down. This core is getting chunked. The leap from the Sonya in the back line. Brightwing chunked to pieces. Goes down. Core is at 25%. Bunker goes down. Does the defense happen? Blaze goes down. Dahaka goes down. Sylvanas goes down, and Li Ming goes down. Core survives with 2,000 health. They're still an objective top, but that's not going to end the game. They can't let these minions touch the core. They need it to start healing. There's a wave bottom that needs to be dealt with. Big wave top, but yeah, the core is back up to 10,000. What does this team decide to do? They're sending 5 members. Are they just going to try to end the game? I think so. Yeah, these waves are not big enough to deal with the core by itself. They're going straight to core. There are still 2 keeps up, so it still has 40 armor. But there's 12 seconds until Brightwing, 20 until anybody else. And doing a little bit slower, but he's a healer, who cares? It looks like they're going to get this. That was... pending some crazy Brightwing play. Very, very, very close. Phoenix Rising almost had that game in the bag. They barely underestimated the defensive capabilities of Frostbite, and they got wiped on core. And at level 22, getting wiped on core generally means you lose the game. And Frostbite recognized that and went straight to end the game. That was amazingly close. These teams very evenly matched. And game 2 should be very exciting. And we'll see if it even goes to game 3. If you're interested in the stats, Chromie, tons and tons of every damage. That was a very effective Chromie. Never died even. Interesting. Sonya, a bunch of siege damage. Li Ming, tons of every damage too. Deaths. Sonya died a lot. Chromie never died. Kills, who cares? Kills are all team. Experience. Sonya, obviously, a lot. Chromie, a bunch. Even more than Dahaka, even. So, That's interesting. Frostbite, top 2 experience heroes on their team. That's why they held that experience lead the whole time. Dahaka, even though he was global, didn't soak quite as much as Sonya. Although, to be fair, they did have a structure advantage, so Sonya was forced to clean up a little bit more. As I'm getting invited into a party for something else, I can't join. And now we're just waiting to see where the next map pick is and who picks it. Does Phoenix Rising want first pick or map pick? I'm going to switch to talent view because why not? For any of you interested in the talents, I didn't talk about them too much. Oh, we even had a glass cannon Liming. That, I mean, if you're going ore build, just staying far enough back, it usually is all right. But generally, people think it's a bad idea. I quite like it. 20% more spell power from these giant orbs. All right, we have a new lobby. There it is going to be Cursed Hollow. And let me see. Team 2 has first pick, so it looks like Frostbite picked this map. So we get to see if these teams have particular strategies for Cursed Hollow. Just waiting for the other team to enter the lobby. Cursed Hollow, another another map with 2 bosses. It's another big map. So again, I'd imagine the draft priorities will be somewhat similar. Phoenix Rising going for globals could be very strong on this one as well. In fact, I think it would be even stronger because the rotational areas between the lanes are enormous and maze-like. There's a bunch of stupid bushes in the way you can't walk through. So makes those globals a little bit stronger. But as we saw in game 1, Frostbite doesn't seem to mind the globals too much. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Phoenix Rising has first pick again, so it is entirely possible we see a very, very similar ban pattern as well. However, with the amount of damage the Chromie did, I can imagine that might be a choice ban. The Liming was also effective, the Dahaka was very effective, so there's a lot of possible target bans after that first game that you might want to use as respect bans instead of the, standard ones that when you don't know what the other team's capable of. All right, it looks like I'm ready, and one of the teams is ready. The other team is all here, just waiting for their final R, and then we'll be going. it's entirely possible they're there. They're ready. Discussing what happened, what they can change, and bringing their best game to game number 2. It's a good strategy before you even start the game to sort of have a plan in mind.
Cursed Hollow.
But we'll have to wait and see how that plan unfolds, and if it gets countered by the enemy team's draft or by their bans. On this map, however, bosses are a lot stronger than Ultra Pass, so boss control might be a bigger priority, so we might see something like a Falstad or a May, or even a Zarya with Expulsion Zone, something like that, to hold that boss point. Heck, even a Tyrael could be fun. Not super common, but very spicy. First ban, Kael'thas. Not wanting to deal with him. I feel some trauma on the side of Phoenix Rising about that Kael'thas that might have burned them in the past, to use one of my very, very rare puns. But the Dahaka Respect ban and the Global ban, both because it was well played on last map and because it's very good on this map, I think is an excellent choice for their only ban, because the second one's going to be Joe, because it just has to be, because that's the meta. And the Falstad, so no boss control and no global. Even though they could have picked it, they don't think it's first pickable. They might think it's second pickable. Or maybe they just don't play it. Or maybe someone on Frostbite plays it really well. It could be a target ban, not just a global ban. And there's the Joe. And we have the Brightwing. So again, with the global, not too surprising for me. Cursed Hollow is one of Brightwing's better maps, I feel. Even though I personally think Brightwing should just be removed from the game entirely.
The hunt is on.
Lunara again, and Rhaegar. So Rhaegar got nerfs. We didn't see him banned or picked in the first game, but he's potentially still very strong. The totem talents that got nerfed only got a slight nerf. The totem's a little bit less health. It does a little less slow and a little less spell power reduction. And the talent levels got swapped around a little bit. But it's still very powerful, I feel. We have an ETC. Could be global, could be Mosh, as well as a Gul'dan. Gul'dan, a bunch of repeatable AoE damage. Doesn't really have mana problems unless you hit him a lot. So it can go well with a Mosh, but could also just hold a lane with good wave clear. Not as much poke as the Li Ming would have had, so not really an objective staller, but there's a Sonya ban. Frostbite had Sonya last game, so they picked her, then they banned her. Maybe they just think she's really strong, but definitely doesn't want to give her to the other team. It looks like they don't want to pick her because they have the first pick after these bans. So maybe they have another plan in mind. Meanwhile, from Phoenix Rising, Diablo ban. Diablo got buffed in this last patch as well, most notably after 10. If you destroy him while he has a soul stone, it goes down to 25 souls instead of 0, so he doesn't lose as much of his hit points. But they're going to go with Varian and Junkrat. Junkrat was banned out last time, not this time, so maybe Malkir is known for his Junkrat. I don't know. But Junkrat traps can definitely help you to secure a tribute, as you can gain vision, you can see enemy terrorists coming, you can zone them off. And especially the silence trap into like a Varian taunt and just a bunch of damage. Very dangerous.
For the frozen throne,
Anubarak.
Deus will rise again.
if he gets bombed away or trapped, he can just burrow charge out. He can burrow charge through a trap to, use his unstoppable. So that it's a decent choice. He's also a very good dive tank with the Greymane to follow up. Very powerful. However, I'm noticing ETC and a Nubrax. So it could be an offlane ETC with stage dive going up against a Murky. So spicy on both sides. Bavarian, there's not a lot of burst follow-up directly into him. You can taunt him and Junkrat can boop them back for sure. Junkrat Lunara can do a lot of damage. But I almost wouldn't be surprised to see like a Colossus Smash with the Murky doing an Octograb into a Colossus Smash into a blow-up. Or something like that. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But we're not going to be seeing a normal game. Murky versus ETC in lane could be entertaining. Although I think ETC wins that pretty handily. If he goes auto attack healing build, he can, until he runs out of mana, he can just kill the Murky's pufferfish and heal off of all of the waves forever. So this looks to be a very exciting match.
Heroes.
On the blue side, we have Frostbite with Cookie on Rhaegar, Apollo on Lunara, Silverbrow on Murky, Magus on Varian, and last Malkier on Junkrat. On the red side, we have Phoenix Rising Sapphire with Atlantis AL on ETC, the Boomer on Anubarak, KKZ on Brightwing, Sidepiece on Greymane, and Direct on Gul'dan.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Again, we have Hypershift, Viciousness, Echoed Corruption, Beetle Build. ATC is that Guitar Hero healing for basic attacks versus Overpower, Natural Perspective. This is the revealing one. Tricky Shuffles, Fishy Duel for bribe stacks, and Rhaegar is realizing that the hero got changed and his previous favorites won't be saved. We have Stormcaller, Lightning Shield. So that's not the meta build from before, although with the talent shuffle, who knows. I'll also point out Greymane did get changed in this last patch, just a little bit. We'll have to see if those talents get taken. Murky already taking the lane on top, ETC going to offlane as I expected. Junkrat pushing in bottom. These people, Frostbite likes to get their lane soak early. Meanwhile, they're going to camp, and Greymane's going to camp, so camp's being taken early. The location of the tribute, both teams taking top camps. So we're going to have a Bruiser camp pushing mid and a Siege camp pushing top. And then presumably when the tribute starts spawning, we'll have a Bruiser camp pushing mid and a Siege camp pushing bottom to be as far away from the tribute as possible. So the macro from both of these teams seems fairly disciplined. They know what their plan is. So you can admire them for that. But it looks like Frostbite is rotating a bit faster with their Murky clearing faster than the ETC. ETC can sustain forever, but Murky just blows everything up right away. Meanwhile, it's up to Lunara and Varian to clear out this camp mid. Zoom in a little bit far out. And Greymane takes his camp actually early, so it's going to have a time to be cleared before the objective. So I think that's an interesting call, but it also lets him push in on this wall early. So it's not necessarily a bad choice, it's just a different choice. And with the damage they're getting done, I'm seeing a repeat basically from the first game, where Frostbite got the lane soak early, but then Phoenix Rising...
Red team draws first blood.
Murky kill doesn't count. Phoenix Rising pushes in their camps and gets wall power early. But Anub dives in and gets the Lunara, but Varian's there to get the counter kill with the fort against the Anub. So 1-for-1 trade. It was good until Varian said no thanks. 1.25 kills in advantage for Phoenix Rising. Murky looks like he's going to be killed again, up to 1.5. With those deaths, Frostbite did not take their camp. And it looks like there's enough time. Yeah, the channel goes through. And Phoenix Rising takes the first tribute. It's only the first of 3, so it's not a huge deal. But with that, they're taking an experience lead and macro lead, structure lead. They have the wall down, some damage. Actually, Murky did more to the top, so that's
Gather tribute.
not too much
or
of a
face
lead,
my
just
curse.
the wall mid.
The choice is simple.
And Frostbite is getting the camp for the second tribute. So this one, they'll have some split pressure, but it's on Phoenix Rising's side. So Phoenix Rising has the opportunity to both defend and get the tribute. They are close to each other, and Frostbite isn't close enough. There's 10 seconds left to get in position. Varian's very far all by himself. Murky's not coming down. ETC's not coming down yet. Junkrat does have bombs. They can get the stall. Lunara over the wall with the Toxic Bloom. Greymane gets booped. Trap's not there yet. The taunt comes in. Channel doesn't go through. Lunara's there to just pressure. Greymane taking a ton of damage, but Brightwing is there. Murky's chasing him down in the back. If Murky dies, it's okay. He can just hang out there forever. Does go down. But Greymane's still very low. Varian looked like he was trying to get that taunt, just walking past the enemy team. But takes a ton of damage for his troubles. Does get the taunt onto a noob. Red team very, very, very low. And a noob goes down. ETC very low. Mage is low, but he can parry. He's not as low as he looks. And Lunara with the Murky and the Varian going in for the chase. Taunt comes in. That's 3 kills for 2 more kills for Frostbite. And now Frostbite has experience lead, and the tributes are 1-1, and the camp still pushing, hadn't been dealt with. So it was a very successful fight on the side of Frostbite. Again, only 1 tribute. They're not too far ahead in experience. It evens up the structures. Murky goes down again. Who cares? And Frostbite going straight to boss. There's time before the next tribute. They can get this boss and still go for it. Preemptive trap just in case they get invaded, but I don't see that happening. Lunara didn't take the PvE toxic damage, it looks like. So not getting huge chunky damage, but with the whole team here, it's still fine. Heroics around the corner. Camps, top camps are up.
Enough tribute this time.
Varian just going to soak. Rhaegar, Lunara look like they're going to push this in at least a little bit. Tribute is on Frostbite's side, so they do have an advantage. They can push without sort of giving up too much. And Heroics are in. We have Warbringer again, Thornwood Vine, not leaping strikes, Ancestral Healing, Riptire, and Octograb. Octograb being, I think, Murky's strongest ability. If you're going to pick Murky and you don't take Octograb, you're doing it wrong. As much as the memes are fun doing an infinite March of the Murlocs on core. Anubrak dives super deep, but Varian's not there to punish with a taunt. He takes a ton of damage. He drops the cocoon, but he shouldn't go down. Varian does show up and taunts the Greymane. Riptire comes in, pushes him back, does a bunch of damage, but no actual kill. On the other side, Blink Heal, there's the stage dive, so definitely full offlane ETC, Cursed Bullet, Horrify, and Cocoon. So a lot of scary heroics in this game, and you might think that you're winning a fight and then ETC jumps on you and then you get horrified. Murky pushing up super far, but again, Murky deaths don't count. And they're putting a lot of work into killing the Murky, which means a lot of damage is going in bottom. Apollo goes in for the globe, maybe sticks around too long with the fort actually attacking her. Rhaegar taking a camp. This is going to push top lane. The objective is back here between mid and top on Phoenix Rising's side. So, not the ideal camp before an objective, but having any camp is better than none. Meanwhile, Phoenix Rising is deciding to push in bottom. ETC's there for the channel, but so is Rhaegar. Interesting to see if they actually decide to fight who would win that fight. Frankly, I think ETC would with his just infinite sustain. Murky could come down and octograb him.
Slay.
A new brag goes down in the bottom. I just missed it, but I assume it was a taunt. Phoenix Rising did stick around a little too long. As much as ETC wins the fight, eventually, Rhaegar can poke that forever. And meanwhile, Murky is just escorting Siege Giants in. Brightwing phase shifts up, which means Rhaegar has time to channel. His team's getting in position. Not Junkrat. Greymane won't get close enough in time. And there's the curse.
Now you shall know my wrath.
Murky does go down, but they chased him for too long. And bottom, minions already on the fort. Middle, same thing. And top fort had Siege Giants a second ago. They're gone, but the minions are there. So big pressure from Frostbite. They're defending mid for the moment,
Destroyed a
but
fort.
top goes down, bottom will go down shortly. And I expect there should be a taunt soon, like why not? But there's the Brightwing. 5 members coming mid, so now is not the time to do it. Now is the time to
Destroyed a fort.
back up and let your offlaners push. Varian gets cocooned, and they're walking right past him. They're not even trying to kill him. Curse bullets misses. Taunt goes on to a Nubarak, but he has his armor. And there's the cleanse from Brightwing. Riptire comes out, but oh, he does do a ton of damage to the Anub, who sticks around in the back too long. Varian gets ferried into the tower, but it's turned off, and that's just an Anub kill for no counter kill. Now the tower is back on, but Frostbite is not hitting any heroes, so it's just hitting minions, and the fort goes down. All 3 forts down. Bottom, a gate almost destroyed. Mid, a gate takes damage. Top, Murky is getting tons of value. Takes down a tower and a gate. And this catapult, if ETT doesn't knock it back, no, it won't get that last shot. No, it does. Tower goes down. That catapult got value. Murky is scouting out the top boss. And with a full level lead, Phoenix Rising has a bit to catch up on. Murky uses Octograb against the ETC, but if he gets that kill, I'd be very surprised. All ETC has to do is do his auto attacks and heal, and he'll be fine. When I play ETC, I love going auto attack builds, so I know kind of what that's like. It against a single hero can kind of last forever. Now Murky's dead.
Hero slain.
Again. But again, it doesn't count, and meanwhile he was buying time, his team gets the boss, and Phoenix Rising goes for their own. It's scouted out by the Wisp, but Frostbite is nowhere near close enough to get any kind of contest on that point. But their boss is marching to keep, so Phoenix Rising has to defend. Frostbite has the option to push or defend. And even if they don't defend, and if this does go through everything, there's no minions with it. It might not even take the keep forward. There's a Junkrat mine to zone back enemy team. The towers are going down. Boss is still at half. Riptire comes out, pushes the Nubarak back a little bit. There's the stun. Oh, the boss stun. Don't even need the taunt. That was just very unfortunate timing for that Anub. Getting booped into it by the Riptire, and no chance to burrow charge or even shield himself. Always feels bad to get hit by a boss stun. But the boss gets cleaned up. The keep stays alive. Minion wave did show up, and so the top fort is going down. Murky dies again.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
The stage dive came out, but the taunt interrupted it, and ETC goes down. So Murky trade for ETC, definitely value for Frostbite. And this boss still charging in.
Shall we see who gathers enough tribute this time?
The Siege Giants will kill that, no problem. Tribute spawning, it's 1-to-1. This one doesn't matter very much at all. But Phoenix Rising just trying to soak up, catch up on some experience. They're the same tier. Once ETC's alive, they could go in. Actually, they could technically go in now. ETC will be alive just as it spawns and could stage dive in. It looks like it's available. So they have the option to fight right here, and on even talent tiers, that's what they're going to do. A noob sort of misses the verge charge, gets blown up just before ETC arrives, but ETC does arrive, and Varian is very low, gets feared, goes down. 1 for 1. That actually benefits Phoenix Rising for the experience, but their Brightwing goes down. Ancestral Healing goes out, Murky goes down, Greymane goes down. This is a 3 for 2, but one of them was Murky, and Riptire catches the ETC. That's a 4 for 1 real kill. It started out okay, but they weren't all there quite at the same time, and Phoenix Rising gets pushed back. Again, that tribute doesn't start a curse, the next one will, but Phoenix Rising will be up in time to defend, or have the option to defend. The issue being 20 is around the corner for Frostbite. So, Murky just decides to bribe the camp for some quick push. They're just going to go straight to this keep and get it down. There's not too much here to defend. There's no real chance that this doesn't go down.
Blue team.
Just some free value for Frostbite, and they should leave. I mean, Murky is Murky. He doesn't have to do what I tell him. But Varian starts his Bruiser camp.
Gather tribute or face my curse.
As 20s come in and the curse gets announced. Banner comes in again, intensifying Toxin. Pit Fighter, so Rhaegar just wants to, be a hero and do all the damage. Extra Oomph, that's the cooldown reduction for Riptire. And Big Murky. Murky feels like he is the main tank now. So it's 20 versus 18. Curse point. And Frostbite is set up to go. Phoenix Rising looks like they're just going to give it up and defend the curse. They're taking their own camp. They're holding it for a moment just to have the other camp push as far as possible first, to make it safer to defend. Mid camp will defend mid for a little while, leaving ETT to focus on defending top. Big Octoriad comes in. Tons of damage coming in. Here comes the Riptire. Doesn't hit much. The Fear comes in. Anubarak is saved by the phase shift. But look at that poison damage. Brightwing immediately falling to... Well, not falling, but her health bar gets filled up with poison. ETC gets chased down. And yeah, that level 20 coming in for Lunara doing a lot of work. Doesn't kill the Brightwing, but pushes him so far back. Brightwing can't heal the rest of the team. And with the curse, 5 people on core. This looks like it's going to be Frostbite's game. Gul'dan goes down just for the,
Red team's core
I don't know,
is under attack.
show of force.
Has destroyed a fort.
And that was not quite as close as game number 1. 14 kills to 4. But GG's to both teams and well played. Looks like Frostbite wins this set 2-0. Just a quick look at the stats. Murky obviously doing all the siege damage, getting all the experience. Lunara, tons of damage. Gul'dan did a bunch as well, but I mean, Lunara damage is fake damage. But Frostbite was able to get those kills. Let's see if anyone wants to do an interview. It looks like someone will be joining me shortly. I'm not quite sure who, but someone from Frostbite. Oh, hey, we got 2 people. 3 people. Hello, it looks like the whole team's here.
Hey, Tim.
Oh,
There we go. How's it going? How do you feel after those matches? GG.
it was obviously the first match was one for the record books, right? We had our our core down to probably less than, I don't know, 10%, and just go to core on game one. So that was a thrilling game. Obviously, my heart was like popping out of my chest, and then game two seemed like we took a nice little lead and we maintained it for the most part. So that was just a great overall team play, great communication across the board. So kudos to the team.
Yeah, game one, your core was less than 2,000 hit points when you managed to get the team wipe.
Yeah. And
All
Maggie's
part of the
made a
plan.
great high tension call there to go for the boss. And said, no, our boss can defend that. Go, go, go. And we were like, okay.
Yeah, you went for core with two keeps still up with the shielding, and I wasn't quite sure how much damage you'd be. And like, you had to walk across the entire map to get there, but
Yeah.
the call was good. You pulled it out.
Yeah, it worked in our favor this time. So
And then game two, the spicy murky pick seemed to work. They chased him around quite a bit.
That's actually my main hero. He's level 108. I play a lot of quick match.
So you're giving away your secrets so the next team can ban him.
that's what I was about to say. I'm like, what are you doing, Silver? That is not your main.
Everybody knows that.
Target ban the Murky. That's okay.
But yeah, the ETC offlane I thought was a pretty spicy, cool pick. But
Yeah.
Didn't quite. It killed the murky a few times, but you know, murky dust don't count. So he just kept falling behind, I guess.
Yeah, that was really interesting. He and Anubarak were like both trying to slow me down on my rotations every time I rotated between the lanes to double soak. It was an interesting strategy.
Yeah, I saw that they banned Kael'thas against you both times. Was that just a meta ban, or did one of you play it very well, or what? Do you know what the deal with that was?
That's out
Yeah.
of spite and hatred. I play Kel'Thas.
Yeah, so we played against that team in another league, in the Nexomania League, and we scrim against them pretty often. So they're very familiar with Last and
Gotcha.
his KT.
Yeah, I play with a couple of them as well regularly, so they're good friends.
They also banned the Junkrat, so it looks like they were targeting you particularly.
Yeah, Last is OP. Pulls nerf Blizzard.
I don't have too many other questions or things I noticed, except for, I guess, the Lunara both games. Is that a comfort pick for you, Apollo? Or
Yeah, I play Lorinara. So we're just seeing how, since the map is so big, we prefer having Lorinara with a Wisp to scout out.
yeah, that's fair. The scout is very important, and you did pick both maps, and you picked two very large maps, so I can see that working out for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought of one more question. It's patch day. How did you feel about the Rhaegar changes, and how did he feel in your hands today?
Yeah, it's a good question for Cookie.
Well, Cookie died.
Obviously, the changes had a big impact on the E-build. However, that being said, I have never really been too big a fan of the E-build, and Rhaegar is one of my most comfortable heroes. So just going a little W hybrid build today was pretty easy for me, and I think with the changes to his purge or to his trait that they gave him, he's still in a great position to be a real utility healer. And of course, you can do a couple things to make him heal a little bit more, or have more utility, or a little bit more damage, or what have you.
So for you, the patch was basically like, sweet, they're not going to ban him, so I can play my old Rhaegar.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Rhaegar, like I said, is one of my most comfortable heroes. He works in most of our comps, and he's one of those ones that I can play so well I can actually pay attention to the game, you know, which is my next step of progression in HOTS.
Sweet. All right, well, I'll let you all have the floor to do whatever shout-outs or send out any messages you want.
Yeah, I guess from my part, just a shout out to the entire team. Even Echo, who's our sub, and Phil, who just joined the team as well. I just appreciate everyone's time, energy, and effort. The core 5 of us have been together now for, God, I think over a month now. I think I would say easily. I think we got together in December, and we've been pretty consistently practicing and scrimming and just putting in the work, setting up for a productive NGS season. I think for most of us, this is our first one as on a main roster, not subbing in for a team. So just want to just congratulate you guys on the effort that we put in that led us to this point. And, we got more games to come. So I look forward to it.
And
Yeah, I
thanks
gotta
for
say,
casting, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for casting. I gotta say, this is the best experience I've had being on a competitive team. It's been great.
Go fight, win.
Yeah.
We got an awesome group of players here, and we kind of like each other, so that works out too.
Kinda.
Exactly.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, honestly.
But Ten, yeah, I look forward to seeing your casting. Unfortunately, obviously, I was in game, so I'll definitely be reviewing it from your point of view. So thank you again for casting it.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Looking forward to doing some more. And again, GG's everybody. It was a lot of fun to watch.
All right, GG's.
Sweet. See ya.
All right. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So we had the whole team in for an interview. I've never done that before, but glad they could all show up. And yeah, they were fun matches. And that's all I got. So good night, everybody.